The seal flattens under my thumb. Temple air carries oil and parchment, the coolness of shade before heat. I hide fresh letters inside my cloak. Authority rides there, intimate as a heartbeat. A clerk watches me go, relieved. I leave without blessing, believing the law itself is blessing enough. We shoulder onto the road. Jerusalem drops behind like a closed gate. Companions adjust straps and blades, the easy camaraderie of men, certain of their purpose. Dust rises in thin sheets, soft as cloth, then clings. I match my pace to the mission in my mind, tight, efficient, forgiving nothing. A Roman mile marker slices the scene, calm, carved numbers promising order. I touch the scroll case, steady as the stone. The world is legible, good, bad, us, them. A companion tries a joke and it lands wrong. My silence is a wall. Laughter shrinks behind it. Earlier, the clerk fumbled stamps. His fingers trembled like reeds in wind. I called it out, impatient. Power can make you deaf to smaller weather, the forecast inside other people. Now walking, I justify my contempt as zeal. The sun agrees with me, loud and white. Heat turns to sound an insect hum that settles in bones. We stop talking to save water and breath. Prayer repeats in my head, polished by use, a river wearing stone. I ask God to see my fire. I don't ask if he lit it. Damascus appears as a pale line where sky meets earth. I imagine synagogues lined in cool stone debates, like sparring arrests conducted as if truth wore shackles. Identity feels like armor you never have to take off. Safe, heavy, it leaves a mark when you sleep. A gust lifts dust, then drops it. The world smells of leather sweat and time crushed under sandals. My jaw aches from clenching. I picture faces I will pin with words, blasphemer, lawbreaker. I call it love of God. The word love does not argue back. Light thickens, not brighter yet, but intent on being so. My companions squint. One shields his eyes with a palm. I keep walking, offended at the interruption. The world owes me clarity, not surprise. The horizon refuses to be reasonable. Then it happens, edges unhook. A white without mercy or malice, just fact. Knees turn to sand. Stone and I meet. The ground feels personal. Somewhere a cry, my name twice, like a rope thrown twice because the first throw missed. I taste grit. My hand finds the letters inside my cloak. Their corners bite, reminding me who I am supposed to be. Voice and light do not care. A word claws up my throat, Lord. I have never said it like a question. The question is a door I did not build. Around me, sandals scrape and scramble. Fingers brush my shoulder, then air. The world has one sound now, and it is not mine. If this is judgment, I deserve it. If this is mercy, I am not ready. The sun keeps speaking, and I have no arguments left. Heat silvers the air. I raise a palm, annoyed, still marching. The road's gravel speaks in soft crunches under sandals. Damascus is a pale idea at the horizon. I am a sharper idea, or so I think. Then brightness gathers at the rim of everything like a breath held too long. The world lets go of edges. White floods the frame, merciless but not cruel. Knees fail. Stone greets me. The smell is dust and wool and a hint of time crushed underfoot. I am suddenly small, newly born, and too old for it. Control escapes like air from a punctured wineskin. Sound thins. Companions scrape and stumble. Someone says my name twice, urgency braided with care. It's not a court officer reading a charge. It's rescue spoken like thunder from inside a whisper. I try to classify it the way I classify people. The voice refuses my categories. I reach for proof wax seal parchment, the letters that explain me. Corners bite my ribs. The authority feels childish in this light. A certainty inside me buckles not from argument, but from exposure. The sun used to be my ally. Now it is a witness. The voice names itself, not asking me to approve the introduction. Reality edits my file while I'm still holding the pen. I remember faces I've hunted, prayers I called rebellion. I am the man who mistook violence for worship. The admission sits heavy and almost freeing. Direction lands, go into the city and wait for instruction. Not a manifesto, a step. It's the tone of a surgeon saying, "We found something," and the world divides into before and after. I swallow pride and sand at the same time. Waiting is a discipline I have not practiced. I open my eyes and meet a dark that has weight. No gray, no faint outline, just a sure absence. Panic creases the center of my chest. For once, there's nothing to manage, only a gap where sight used to be. I learn the shape of helplessness fast. Hands find me calloused, careful. My companions do not arrest me with touch. They steady me. I hear leather straps creak, water slosh, a whispered prayer from someone who never prays out loud. Their fear makes a space for my honesty. I let them lift me. We test one step, then another. The road becomes a texture underfoot rather than a view ahead. I count breaths because counting is something I can still do. The letters ride against my side like a mistake I'm not ready to discard. The voice's command keeps beating like a drum. The city is an idea, now markets, synagogues, straight streets, all memory and plan. We walk toward an unseen gate, and I accept that toward might be the only faith I can manage today. I try my eyes again. The dark does not negotiate, it stays. We keep moving anyway. Hands steer me to a bench. The wood is nicked and honest. I read its history with my fingers. A lamp breathes somewhere over my left shoulder, a small animal of fire. I catalog the room by air currents and floor creaks, building a map only touch can sign. Water cools my skin. A bowl laps my ankles. I tense, then let the kindness happen. The clay rim bumps bone, a soft apology. My companions argue routes and risk. I hear the weight of my name in their sentences. Authority used to enter before me, now need does. Bread arrives. I keep my mouth closed as if it's a gate I can guard. Hunger complains like an old friend I've ignored. The room smells of olives and lamp smoke. My stomach answers in public. I decide not to manage it. Honesty isn't heroic, it's just not pretending. Night puts a hand on the house. Sleep staggers in pieces. The noon voice edits my memories. A synagogue debate, a door kicked too hard, a prayer sharpened into a weapon. Pride offers footnotes and rebuttal. I decline. The lamp whispers in small vowels. My certainty has nothing to say back. Morning cool brushes my arms. The city wakes beyond the lattice vendors, striking prices like flint. A child's shriek, braided with laughter sandals, making weather on stone. I turn toward the doorway as if sight might return out of courtesy. It doesn't. Sound becomes the road I can travel. A caretaker clears his throat, the preface to courage. Eat a little, he suggests, not ordering. He sets down olives and flatbread. I touch the plate's warm rim, then withdraw. He leaves steps, soft dignity intact. Mercy is rarely theatrical. It's usually this quiet, specific, believable. I try long prayers and tangle them, so I cut them down. Help, aim me. I breathe between words like they're mile markers. In another life, I'd silence my phone after a scandal and wait for the meeting no one wants to schedule. This waiting is cleaner. There's no performance in it. The name arrives, Ananias. It feels borrowed like a coat I wasn't measured for. I say it again slower. The room listens with me. My companions fall quiet outside the door, as if the syllables carry a weight they can feel through wood. A direction without a map. Day 2 leans into evening. I count olive pits and arrange them in a line, then break the line and make a circle. Control is a child who hates bedtime. It throws a tantrum before sleep. I let it thrash until it's tired. The dark does not negotiate. Third morning tastes like dust and hope. I pace the room, palms skimming plaster like reading Braille. Somewhere the front door clicks. Sandals hesitate on the threshold. The air tightens with weather I cannot name. I turn my face toward the sound and hold still as a prayer forming. The room holds its breath. My name arrives inside the breath, bright and precise. I answer from the honest center here. Directions follow like coordinates I didn't request. Straight Street, Judas's house, a man from Tarsus. The name Saul tastes like iron shavings. Courage does not report for duty, obedience does. I try to negotiate with the voice using facts, arrests, threats, the bruise of rumors still fresh. The answer does not cancel the danger, it reframes it. He is praying, he has seen you coming. Some orders arrive like a map already drawn. Mine arrives like a first step. I tell my wife. Her needle stops mid-air. Thread hangs like a thinned out. Are you sure means I want you alive, not disobedient. We sit with that. I choose movement. The oil vial is small in my palm, a promise disguised as a tool. We pray in incomplete sentences. Practice becomes liturgy. Saul tightens my jaw. Brother Saul eases it. Words change the shape of the mouth. Maybe they change the heart too. I pack a strip of cloth, a whisper, a willingness to be wrong about an enemy. The room smells like wool, lamp smoke, and risk. Straight Street opens like an arrow through the city. Vendors weld numbers to fruit with their voices. Flies attend like accountants. Donkeys file disagreements. Children sprint their laughter, outrunning fear. I match my steps to the road's confidence and borrow some. Dust lifts, settles, lifts again like my courage. A neighbor hooks my sleeve, eyes wide. He's here for us. I say I'm here for him. Her fingers loosen but don't release. Faith is not convince and go. I promise nothing neat, only presence. She blesses me with a gesture she learned from her mother, then disappears into the market's noise. Body speaks, palms damp, breath short, heart practicing escape. I let it talk while I keep walking. In another world, this is a calendar alert. You don't snooze mediation at 2 p.m. Conference room B. You go because peace rarely comes looking. It waits to be picked up. Yuda's door is wood rubbed smooth by years of hands. Behind it, a hush shaped like waiting. Clay cool radiates from the walls. I imagine a blind man counting breaths, replaying a noon that split his life. My own breaths answer slow volunteers. A friend appears at my shoulder, soft steps, steady eyes. He doesn't ask to lead, he offers to stand near. The human scale of courage, two people at a door together. We listen to the silence until it feels less like absence and more like welcome rehearsing. My knuckles hover, then land. The sound is small and decisive. Oil sits weighty in my other hand. Words load into my mouth and wait for the door's hinge. Brother is the risk you take before evidence. The latch lifts. I let the word lead me in. The door releases a stored breath. Footsteps approach calm as a promise. A pause, then Brother Saul. The word clothes me before I can argue. Hands hover, then settle at my temples. Oil wakes the air. Shame arrives late to the meeting and finds no seat reserved. He speaks of the one who met me at noon. I brace for indictment. Instead, announcement, receive your sight. A latch lifts behind my eyes. Darkness unthreads. Light enters like a river through a hairline crack that suddenly forgets to be small. Lamp flame clay edges a human face, pieces reassemble into world. Water glints in a shallow bowl. I swallow the urge to posture and kneel. Ananias steadies me with a palm between shoulder blades, an ordinary kindness that feels like a new physics. Pride barks from the porch, refuses to come in. We begin without it. Questions used to be weapons. Here they are, a doorway. What do you believe, he asks. I answer without footnotes. Jesus is Lord. The sentence fits in my mouth like it belongs there. He smiles like someone who's watched weather break after a long, dry year. The basin mirrors the afternoon. Stone presses my knees, my pulse rehearses trust. Ananias lowers me. The water holds cool and convincing. Sound blurs into a single vowel. Under the surface, I meet the version of me that will not return. I rise, cough, gasp, laugh, alive, and a little ruined in the best way. Companions shift, recalculating. Suspicion drains from their shoulders, replaced by relief nobody wants to brag about. A neighbor's shadow leans at the lattice rumor's first draft. Ananias offers a cloth. I take it and keep my hands open longer than necessary just to practice. Food arrives. Bread breaks with the satisfying crack of ordinary mercy. Olives paint salt on my tongue. I can feel my hands again, then my humor, then my hunger widening into gratitude. Strength doesn't sprint back. It walks in, wiping its feet. Vision sharpens. Edges I used to weaponize become contours. I can bless the curve of a lamp, the seam on a clay cup, the creases at the corners of a brave man's eyes. I say thank you to God aloud, then clumsier to Ananias. He receives it without making it a ceremony. We sit as dusk blue climbs the wall. Plans wait politely in the next room, words. I'll have to say trouble that will find us. Tonight time agrees to be simple. Straight Street lives up to its name. I breathe like a person who forgot how and is remembering. The synagogue is a familiar geometry, stone benches, the Torah arcs, curtain lamps sucking oil into small flames. I stand where I used to corner people with questions. The scroll crackles when unrolled, a dry riverbed waiting for rain. My throat is a hinge. When I speak, the room tilts. The sentence leaves my mouth. Jesus is the Son of God. No music, just clarity. Heads turn as if a breeze changed direction. A boy near the back forgets to breathe. The parchment's edge presses my fingertips, reminding me truth is textured, not theoretical. I feel oddly light and rooted. He recognizes me, old colleague, old mirror. Isn't this the wrecking man, he calls? Laughter, then suspicion. I don't swat the label away. I let it name my past while I name my present. I hunted ignorance and found myself, I say and mean it. The room argues with itself. We diagram prophecy in air with our hands. I connect noon on the road to lines on the scroll. Opposition throws fastballs. I catch what I can and let the rest thump the back wall. A woman's eyes shine behind a veil. Skeptics frown like accountants discovering an error. Outside, the elder's voice threads caution into my zeal. If you're right, we've read with one eye. He doesn't endorse me, he tests me. I nod. Humility isn't theatrics, it's posture. My shadow falls short of his doorway. The sun has its own opinions. An alley confrontation, a former ally corners me between jars. You trained my anger, he says. Now you shame it. I tell him conversion didn't amputate my fire, it turned it. He spits, misses, leaves fast. The jars listen like patient witnesses who have seen worse. Back inside, a heckler tries performance, spy. The word lands like a lit match. I want to kick it back, old habits flex. Instead, I answer the fear hiding inside his syllable. I don't need your names. I need your eyes. The heckler falters, then sits, wounded pride looking for a chair. Teaching multiplies. I feel stronger, not louder, clearer. Scripture becomes window. We open it, dust gleams. People don't love dust until they realize it's always been there. Truth turns on the light without apology. Some bless it, some shield their faces and accuse the lamp. Whispers harden into plans. Friends report meetings I'm not invited to, glances that don't slide off but stick. A hand finds my elbow on Straight Street. It's not debate anymore, he says. It's choreography. I watch men move like pieces they believe they control. The board belongs to someone else. Evening cools the stones. I pack in quiet grips, bread, water, skin, courage, folded small. Prayer shrinks to verbs, watch, wait, move. The wall remembers other fugitives with rope burns on their hands. The city gate glowers like a judge with time. We'll choose the night over the argument. Whispers stop performing and start arranging. In the market, laughter cuts mid-sound when I pass. Faces do math on me. Sunlight stripes the stones. Dust hangs in the beams like punctuation. I understand suddenly that debate was a gift. This is logistics, and logistics has teeth. Under the colonnade, a friend intercepts me. Gate watchers every shift, he says, eyes not staying still. He swallows the word kill and replaces it with look. We both accept the synonym. My mouth tastes like metal. The street is louder than it was 5 minutes ago. In a small room, we argue softly. One brother says faith stands its ground. Another says wisdom picks its ground. I keep turning the words in my palm. Courage without direction is just heat. We ask God for a map and receive a door in a wall. There's a house built into the city's edge. Rope in a coil. Basket big enough for grain or a life. A window overlooking elsewhere. Pride smirks at the plan, calls it theatrical. I remind Pride it wasn't there when Mercy named me brother. Pride leaves the room to pout. We scout at dusk. Torches turn the gate into a stage. Men in pairs do not applaud. I watch from an alley breath, flat cloak damp at the neck. A cat reads the guards with more confidence than I have. I envy the cat and learn from its patience. Back home, hands work. A fisherman teaches rope like a language. Lay it so it wants to leave, he says, and I understand obedience in a new dialect. We test the basket with jars until its voice cracks. We listen like doctors reading a heartbeat. My palms redden. A thin rope brand writes its lesson. Pain can be either teacher or editor. Tonight it edits out my showiness. I practice climbing into a basket without making the basket hate me. The practice is funny. I allow the room to smile. I think of tomorrow's sermon that won't happen, notes forming like birds that won't land. I let them fly and sit in quiet instead. The house breathes clay and lamp smoke. Courage in the room is ordinary. Someone brings water, someone folds a cloak, someone keeps watch without sighing. Tonight, we agree. Agreement doesn't lower my heartbeat. I cinch my belt and pray small quiet wheels, soft feet, no loose plank. In another world, this is checking the stairwell cam before leaving the office, shoes in your hand. Wisdom is not afraid of looking careful. The city dims. Voices thin to thread. A watchman coughs like a tired engine. We move toward the wall room. Rope waits, basket waits. The window is a mouth in stone. I set my hands, feel the pull of something larger than fear, and step closer to the edge. Rope coils on the floor like a quiet argument we already resolved. A window opens to a square of moon. The fisherman tightens knots by feel. The scribe rechecks what his eyes don't trust yet. I touch the wicker lip and hear it answer back, we can try. I climb in. The basket complains like an honest chair. Pride coughs for attention. I give it the smallest nod and then ignore it. Don't fight the swing comes the whisper. Hands find the rope. The room shrinks to 3 breaths, theirs, mine, and the walls. Air changes as the window swallows me. Stone and wicker begin their slow conversation. The rope moves through palms with a hiss. I feel more than hear. I keep one hand on the side, the other open like a truce. Night presses cool through the weave. Voices by the gate, male and bored and dangerous. We stop. The basket turns lazy and traitorous. I breathe in 4's borrowed discipline. The rope vibrates with someone's held sneeze. A chuckle from above, a scrape of spear, then silence, ripples closed again. We live inside the pause. A jolt, the basket kisses a stone outcrop. My jaw answers with a hard vowel. Above, the fisherman nudges the line, finds the clean angle, and the rope resumes its letter to gravity. I whisper gratitude to craft that ordinary holiness that keeps people breathing. A dog decides to be a trumpet. Its bark saws the dark in half. Footsteps shift on the wall walk. A hand above flicks bread into an alley. The dog recalculates, choosing appetite over duty. My laugh is silent and shakes everything anyway. The rope slips a fraction sweat or hurry and catches. My body flares, then learns again how to be heavy on purpose. Trust is sore from the work, but not injured. I let myself be lowered like a sentence that ends in mercy instead of indictment. Boots find soil. The ground is a blessing that doesn't need press. Stems brush my calves. A silhouette lifts 2 fingers clear. I crouch free of the basket and set it gently down. It has carried more than weight. For a heartbeat, we all listen to the field breathing. The rope lifts softer, going up then down, and disappears into stone. We won't see each other for a while, not because love is less, but because love picked a road. A waterskin changes hands. Directions become gestures because words might buy attention we can't afford. I start toward the darker dark that promises road. The city quiets like a room after a hard conversation. Stars hang like witnesses. In my palm, rope burn pulses a small sermon about exit strategies and grace. Jerusalem isn't safer, it's simply where obedience points next. Jerusalem's stones glare like old witnesses. I pass gates that once bowed to my paperwork and feel their silence take notes. Cloak-tight eyes forward. I aim for the quarter where disciples gather. Rumor gets there first. The door slit opens, a pupil steadies, then shrinks. My name sounds strange in my own mouth. Bolts slide like cautious sentences. The door admits me without committing. Inside, whispers move faster than feet. A corridor smells of oil and dust. Two men watch my hands the way you watch a dog you don't know yet. I keep them visible. Honesty begins with fingers. Why are you here? Lands like an accusation disguised as grammar. I give short nouns, light voice, blind healed, baptized, preached. Their faces don't update. Testimony sometimes bounces off fear, like rain off waxed cloth. I feel the old instinct to argue. I do not. Barnabas arrives like shade on a noon road. Taller, steady gaze, wool cloak soft with use. He studies me without flinching, equal parts caution and kindness. Walk with me, he says. He offers presence before defense. I accept, relieved by the sanity of a single sentence that doesn't demand proof. The room of leaders is small and serious, air thick with history and lamp smoke. Eyes that have buried friends because of choices I authored. I stand where judgment might be reasonable. The floor holds. Barnabas speaks. He doesn't sell me. He tells the truth whole enough to be risky. He met the Lord on the road, Barnabas says. He preached Jesus openly in Damascus. No purple prose, just receipts. He places his reputation under mine like a jack under a failing beam. The room tilts, less suspicion, more possibility. Questions come finally shaped like learning instead of litigation. They let me stay. No applause, no ceremony, just a plate at the same table and someone asking if I slept. I did not. Bread tears with a gentle sound. Fingers brush. No one pulls back. Small mercies are loud to the person who needs them. I eat gratitude without saying the word. Morning light rinses roofs. We pray in a room that shows the city's spine. I ask for a voice that doesn't need to win and hands that know when to open. Barnabas's hand lands on my shoulder, solid, ordinary enough. I am surprised by how much enough can carry. On the street, an old associate stops, eyes narrowing, tallying the math of my betrayal. He chooses distance. I let him. Two boys trail me at a safer distance, whispering my old name, testing my new one. The syllables sound like rope learning a new knot. I teach in a small courtyard, voice steady. A woman asks a question with tears in it. A man argues with respect he didn't used to have for me. Suspicion doesn't vanish, it loosens its grip. Barnabas listens without hovering. Trust grows like moss quietly on stone that once felt hopelessly dry. Afternoon warms the courtyard. New listeners lean in. Old skeptics occupy the shade. I trace a line from prophecy to person, the way windows open when you stop boarding them. Dust glows in a shaft of light like evidence that was always there. The room almost believes together. Scholars from the Hellenist quarter engage, quick minds, clean questions. We trade citations, then stories. Respect holds until it doesn't. A question arrives shaped like a snare, not a search. The air tightens. Someone smiles without mirth. I recognize planning disguised as debate and step back from the edge. Barnabas hears me out, face a map of careful roads. We send you, he decides. The word send carries dignity I hadn't granted leaving. Leaders nod. We pray without drama. In another world, this is security coordinating an exit that preserves life and future work. I say yes before my pride can object. Packing is short. A cloak, a waterskin blank parchment, a stubborn hope. I walk rooms that kept me alive and taught me softness with edges. A young disciple presses a small loaf into my hands and flees. I tuck it beside the scroll case like a vow stored as carbohydrates. Dawn thins shadows. Rooftops trade color with the sky. We take the road south, 3 men and a purpose that doesn't need to shout. Behind the city rehearses its routines. Ahead, the hills lean toward salt. I let quiet do more talking than my opinions ever did. At the gate, watchmen glance, then look again, then look away. A woman nods once. Her boy mirrors it with both hands. I answer with a small smile that promises to come back better, not bigger. The gate gives us up like a held breath, let out slowly. The road smells of time and sweat, then closer to sea of tar and gulls, and something metallic. Boats jostle at their leashes. A captain asks where, when, how many. Barnabas does the speaking, I do the listening. Wisdom sometimes delegates the voice that won't get us killed. Deckboards knock like a quiet drum. Lines cast off. Stone retreats without apology. The shoreline turns into drawing, then memory. I face forward. Turning back is for inventory, not direction. Wind pushes a palm against the sail. The boat answers in sentences older than kings. Water writes soft arguments under our hull. I pray in verbs learn, serve, endure. Tarsus rises in my mind not as escape, but apprenticeship. In another life, it's a sabbatical that's really training. Barnabas watches the horizon and lets me be quiet without thinking silence is broken. Stars take their posts. Night cools the heat out of the day. The wake stitches and unstitches behind us, a seam that refuses drama. They will call me Paul in time. Names trail change like shadows catch up to feet. I rest my palms on the rail and begin again.